Charlie Kirk's assassination, I think, is genuinely one of the most awful moments that I've had in my career so far, chronicling activism and all the rest of it that I've done. You know, he really did inspire a new generation into getting involved in the movement for free speech. He even stood up at the Oxford Union earlier this year, arguing that Britain's inheritance is America's inheritance, that actually Britain gifted the world so many of the things that we take for granted today, including free speech. You know, while Sir Keir Starmer bangs up more people for speech crimes than a Russian dictator, you've got a problem. We have a real problem in this country. And I've been also really struck by the number of people since Charlie's terrible assassination saying, Darren, you need to be careful. You need to be so, so very careful. But I'm afraid that that is exactly what these evil, barbaric murderers actually want us to think. They want us to self-censor ourselves, to stop making the kinds of arguments that Charlie made. In good faith, he made them to those he disagreed with. He wanted to engage in speech and debate, to reach consensus on ideas, to expose people to ideas they'd never heard before because of an incredibly biased media and political class, biased to the left, biased in their use of smears and the kind of things that they said about the likes of Charlie Kirk, smearing people that believe in border controls as Nazis, as all these other things that actually lead to these kinds of hideous events. I've been struck by the number of young people who've actually openly celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk. And that, I think, is the surest sign of the indoctrination of an entire generation by this biased political and media class. But I'm not going to stop. We cannot stop. We cannot allow these people to win. We have a real fight on our hands. And I will not allow this horrible, senseless murder to mean that I or anybody else has to change the way that they go about their lives. And it's just so, so tragic. You know, my heart breaks for his young children and his beautiful wife. But I don't think Charlie Kirk would want us to stop and to change ourselves in order to actually appease the violent thuggery of those who disagree with us.